frame. We have three topics of roundtable. One is now standardization, regulation, and liability of relief actors. The second one after that, preventing sexual exploitation and abuse in the aid sector. And the last one is maintaining human rights in the at-risk population. Now, the purpose of the discussion is to consider different aspects, approaches, problems, good approaches, best practices related to the topic of discussion. And our goal is to compile a discussion, discussion to one comprehensive policy paper that will reflect the spirit of the discussion, the spirit of the workshop. And so the more discussions, the more opinions being brought up, and the more topics being brought up around the table, the better on that sense. The discussion is conducted under the Chatham House rule, so nothing is affiliated to the speakers. We are doing the video recording of the initial presentations of the speakers who agreed to be videotaped. We're going to take some photos and then video parts of the entire workshop, but as was notified in advance, we're not going to put anyone's wording. We're not going to have you quoted while you speak. If you don't want to be heard, then during the short video we're going to compile out of it. We're going to just put some nice YouTube music over you.
Can we choose the
No. I'm running the show. I choose the music. Okay. A few technical things about how the discussion. So we're going to have a few presentations at the beginning of each session. However, when you open the roundtable for a discussion, do not necessarily limit yourself, and that's a role for the moderators, most role of the moderators. We're not limiting the discussion to the presentations alone. The presentations are part of the roundtable discussion. They are here to initiate it, because sometimes roundtable discussions are hard to start with, and we want to have a more structured way to start the discussion. So we are going to have a few presentations, but the following discussion doesn't have to be a Q&A on the presentations, more topics, and the moderators have their own view and their own ideas, and also receive your talking points. So they are aware of the different ideas and different points that are here around the table. If you want to get the floor, either for a comment or questions, we have two different ways to do it. If you want a general question or a general comment to be added, you just raise your name tag, nameplate, stands that way. If you want an immediate follow-up question or comment to what just been said, you raise your hand. Okay, so if you raise your hand, the moderator knows that you want to speak immediately in the context of something that's just been said. Long session, long discussions. Feel free to help yourself with the refreshments throughout the day. Just try to do it in a way that will not, let's say, next time I speak, if 30 people will go and get some coffee, it would be a bit disturbing. So, in a sensible way. That's for administrative stuff. Now, very briefly, my 2 cents on legal aspects of relief operations, and then I hand it to Cynthia to start the show. My idea is very, very simple. There is a need for some regulation. There is need to take things more out of just discussion into a more regulative. However, there is no one size fits all, or one ring to fit them all, or whatever you want to refer to. I suggest that when we discuss, one of the things that we need to bear in mind that there are different types of missions, and there are similarities and differences between various characteristics of relief operations. And I can name a few. For example, the type of mission. You have peacekeeping missions, you have food and good delivery type relief operation, You have missions that are aimed for constructions or saving life and rescue. On the other hand, you have the type of mission different on its origin. State-based missions are one type, international organizations, NGOs, etc., also a different type of missions. The duration of a mission can be very, very different. There are missions that are short-term. They come to do a relief operation for an ad hoc specific 48 hours, 1 week, or something like that. And there are missions that are staying for the long run, and they have very, very different perspectives. Another characteristic is the type of the extreme conditions that we are dealing with. We have armed conflicts on the one hand, we have natural disasters on the other hand. Of course, you can't have a natural disaster during an armed conflict, and vice versa. And the level of interaction between the relief operation and its staff with the local population. You have high level or low level, and sometimes the relief operation will hire locals, and sometimes it will only based on foreign volunteers coming with the mission. And so that's the type of mission, or that's the characteristic. On the other hand, I would like to connect it to a very thorough research that has been done here at the Minerva Center, which discusses different models of regulation. And the idea is that it's research done by Professor Amnon Reichman from the University of Haifa, and the argument is that there are about 7 models of regulation that if you use them either separately or some kind of combination, can cover anything you would like to regulate. You can regulate anything throughout these models, and any regulation has to fall out within these models. And the types are, I'm going to read out the seven types. The first one is informational transparency. Second one is licensing regime. Third is civil responsibility. The fourth one is penal responsibility. Fifth one is taxes or subsidiary. The sixth is insurance arrangement, and the seventh is international standards. Almost anything you want would either fall within these regulations. Sorry?
We almost got it.
You almost got it. Freedom of information, penal and civil code, licensing, taxes, insurance, and international standards. It's actually very, very simple once you think about it. And
once you put it on a slide.
Once you put it on a slide, yeah, I'm going to run and make one. The idea is that, in my view, in the long run, the idea is to identify different characteristics of missions and similar characteristics of missions, and see where can we find different types of regulational models that can fit to certain missions, actually take advantage of that, and see if we can find different types of missions that can benefit from that experience and best practice of other types of missions because they have similar characteristics, and learn what might be good for one type of humanitarian or relief operation, but wouldn't be applicable to other types of relief operations, and know not necessarily to base yourself on good experience in order to try to copy it where it doesn't fit. That's it for me. I'm going to pass it to Cynthia, and thank you.